Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seat. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. NFR, NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, sick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR, yeah. NFR, yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Go, victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin.
They roared into 24 engines on fire. Max and his Red Bull racing with desire. Sergio followed, but he stumbled and trailed. In the season's first half, their victories held. Max was a lion on tracks burned gold, but halfway through the season, the car grew cold. Perez Tony struggling in his quest. Lance in his own right outdid him at best. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survive. That checkered flag once seemed a sure thing, but fortunes change fast in the racing ring. Mechanical troubles and the handling wrong. The champions yesterday now sing a broken song. Max is holding on by a thin red line. Each turn a battle and every lap a time. Perez in shadows where hopes lay slain. Every pit stop a prayer for racing's gain. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Just survives.
as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see. Lando in the cockpit, heartbeats loud, chasing dreams under pressure, lost in the crowd. Corner 2 shots spun out wide and free, championships slip like sand into the sea. On the chicane, caught him slow on the twist, a second's hesitation, victory missed. Reading spot, he slid off the track, fans gasping as the sky turned black. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild, back speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear, pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild, max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear, pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pit stop chaos, tires not there, mechanics fumbling in the pit lane's glare. Leaderboard slipping like oil on the floor, Lando's hopes falling, can't take anymore. Max takes the lead with a grin so bright, Lando's in shadows, can't find the light. Wheel to wheel, but he's losing grip, champions rise as dreams start to slip. One last race, the engines scream, hoping for a miracle, grasping at the dream. Final lap and there's no more to give, lessons in the losses, that's how we live. Pressure breakdown, and a running wild, max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear, pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, Lando running wild, max speeds by with the champion smile. Mistakes piling up, dreams in the rear, pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear. Pressure breakdown, drowning the fear.
Feel the speed, the thrill, high octane drama can't get our fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
NFR, it's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. sweets. NFR. NFR. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush. NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green. Zooming fast, slick machine. Every twist, every scene. Catch the action on your screen. NFR. NFR. Yeah. Drama high, stars afar. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush. NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. Victory's close. Who will win? In our heads, the engine's din.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. And welcome. Good evening, everybody. Oh, wow, I can hear myself. That's not good. And it's loud. So there we go. Can't hear myself anymore. That's better. Penultimate round of SKR. Of course, season 9, round 12. Just one more to go after this. Faced with a... Ooh, seems like we have a broken lobby. That's not good. Not a good way to start things off. But appears everybody is leaving the lobby, so we will follow suit and wait for an invite. Take you back to the pre-race screen. Of course, we were about to get going. Seems like something has gone horribly wrong. F1 has released 1 or 2 patches in recent weeks, and they haven't been very popular. There we go, we're back in the lobby, and hopefully we'll be getting away shortly. Of course, we can't have too much of a delay, because the real deal happens at 6 p.m. Formula One will be racing at this venue just under 2 hours from now. We are already in the lobby, so now we're just waiting for the lobby to fill up, and then we can get on with things. Of course, reminder that tonight is a sprint. I was going to say sprint evening, but it's very much in the middle of the afternoon. So we're going to be having, call it a sprint round. Of course, different leagues like to attempt their sprint rounds a little differently. Here at SKR, I believe what we do is a reverse of the grid that goes by championship order. We reverse that order. That's how we start off the sprint race. And then as the sprint race goes on, the result of the sprint race will determine the starting grid for our feature race. So think of the sprint race as a quali session. Of course, we've got Death Queen in the comment section, as always, supporting her boys Andre and Skull. Those two are teammates at Williams. Both quick drivers in their own right. When they get it right, I've seen them both on the podium multiple times. And as I've said many times before on this channel, sometimes the quickest drivers out on track don't necessarily go on to win the race. Welcome in the comment section. I'm not sure. It says Vainant and Hendrina, so I'm not sure which one it is. Vainant, whichever one it is, welcome to NFR. Welcome to the penultimate round of SKR. Of course, we were supposed to get going at 6 p.m. We had a slight delay. Then we got into the lobby at about 5 past, and well, there was something wrong with the lobby. So we've had to redo things. We're about to get going yet again. Of course, Constructors Championship. I have too many leagues. Let me just confirm. Well, the Drivers' Championship is confirmed to have gone the way of Aston Martin driver Wees, and I'm going to confirm, and I'm just going to check, but I'm pretty sure that is confirmed as well. So Aston Martin clean sweep, Drivers' Championship P1 and 2, and then the Constructors to top it off. Still 2 rounds to go and still lots to play for. Just because you haven't won the championship, still a lot of positions, still a lot of battles in the midfield. If you're in P5 and you have an opportunity of finishing P4 in the championship, every single position counts. And of course, the higher you finish in the championship, the more confidence you're going to get going into the next one. So I'm not sure which league it is. I'll have to get confirmation, but if I'm not mistaken, it is this one. They do make an early return in the new year. I think it's the second Sunday of the year, something like that. So SKR will make a return. But it's going to be a strange 4 weeks without any live content. I've gotten quite used to this. It's going to feel like the F1 break, the summer break. You can see there on the right hand side a lot of the drivers already getting ready, just waiting now for the timer, and we should be underway shortly. Looks like we have 17 drivers, so it will be a relatively full grid, especially at this point in the season. So many times we see towards the end of a season the numbers start to drop off, the lobbies start to get smaller and smaller, and sometimes by the time you get to the penultimate round, things don't look that good. Well, SKR still going strong. Just 2 rounds to go, including this one. 17 drivers in the field, and remember, 1 or 2 might still be able to squeeze in during that sprint race, and then they will feature in the, well, they'll feature in the feature race. We'll have to start from the rear of the field though. Remember, the sprint race will determine the field for the feature race. 10 lap sprint race, 29 lap feature race, and then, well, and then we go straight back to Qatar again for the real thing at 6 p.m. Just waiting for everybody to ready up, or for that timer to get to 0, whichever one comes first, and we should be underway. Of course, this race 2024 hasn't happened quite yet. It'll be in about an hour and a half from now. So this race has only been held twice. Once won by Max Verstappen, then won by Lewis Hamilton. So 1 win to Mercedes, 1 win to Red Bull. One of those races had a safety car, the other one did not. So chances of a safety car around this circuit, 50%. I've only had it 2 times. It's not too many stats I can come up with. Hopefully this time there'll be no shenanigans and we get going. We're looking at the empty pit lane. Of course, usually this would be the start of qualifying. We'd be waiting for cars to drive out of those garages to come out and set the field for your race. Not this time around. This time around all the cars are to the right hand side of your screen, doing their final preparations. Of course, sprint race, unless you have any damage, you shouldn't be making any visits to the pits. Not a mandatory tyre change in the sprint race, so you go straight from the start finish line straight to the end of the race. Hopefully, don't want to pick up any damage along the way, otherwise it's going to be quite difficult to get a decent result out of this race. Still waiting. A relatively long pause. Of course, when we do get going, it's not going to be straight into the action. There we go. Should get the dual green lights. We do. These drivers will just get another opportunity, or at least their first opportunity. Remember, there was no qualifying session. First opportunity to just get out there, do a lap around the circuit. Of course, the cars won't be at their heaviest. They're just going to be fueled up for those 10 laps. Cars will feel a lot worse at the start of the feature race. Won't feel too bad right now. Just to bring up your tyre screen and your track map so you can see where everyone is and you can see what tyres everyone's using. The entire field has gone for the medium compound, so obviously a tyre that can easily do the 10 laps. Soft, a bit of a stretch. I think your Qatar race would probably be a one-stop involving mediums and hards in whichever order you choose to use them. We're riding with Divan. Remember, what they do is a reverse grid order. So your quickest guys in the championship or your championship leaders, they're going to be towards the rear of the field. If you're seeing drivers below Wies and It's Free, quite sure why they're there. It might be because they're reserve drivers. I'll try and get confirmation as to why that is, because Wies and SAFRL clearly the leaders in the championship, but they're sitting in P10, P11, so they're going to be going from the midfield. Not the best camera angle to start the race with. Bunch of DSQs at the back of the field. Those are drivers that just weren't able to get the cars parked right. They're going to be pushed back slightly in their pit boxes. I'll have a small disadvantage at the start of the race. First it says DRS enabled, then the lights come on. 5 of them in total. They go off and we get underway. Dive from Top Gun into turn 1. This is such a crucial part of the race, and it's just at the very beginning. You get turn 1 wrong and the rest of your race is going to be a disaster. You're going to be playing catch up from there. So important for everybody to come out of turn 1 unscathed. Seems like the field has been able to do that. Don't see any stationary cars on the track map. Divan still leads the way. Top Gun P2. Then we've got the pair of Williams 3 and 4 going strong. Mr. Ren P5. Then Virus in P6. Levy's actually just made up a position. Goes up into P6. Virus loses a position. But a car falling down the field. Who is that? Was that Wies? I think it was Wies just falling down the order. There's a Ferrari and a Red Bull making contact. Lots of action early on in the race, just lap 1 of 10. And this is a sprint race. You don't have to worry about pit windows, pit strategies, tyre compounds. This is straight out racing from start to finish. Divan still leads the way. RB from Red Bull. Would usually say an order you would not be accustomed to, an RB in front of a Red Bull, but in recent races it's become quite a common occurrence, at least with one of the Red Bulls. You have a caution. Sometimes those just disappear from the screen, sometimes they cause something much worse, but I think that one's going to disappear from our screen. Spy gets a 3-second penalty. Yes, I know his name is not Spy, but I'm not going to pronounce that on my channel. I do think it's funny though. Divan leads the way. Top Gun still in P2, and Divan actually making up some ground early on in the race. 1.1 seconds. Actually gone down back to 1. Very important for him to just break DRS. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for Top Gun to stay with the RB. And then Top Gun has to defend from 2 Williams. Levy in P5, another quick driver, driving slightly out of position. We know he can drive at the front with the best of them, and there's the proof. 24.3, quickest lap of the race so far. Virus, ooh, that's a double overtake. We wish we knew that was coming so we could have got a better overtake, a better view of it. Virus goes from P6 to P8 in one move. Get a Red Bull and a Ferrari flying down the inside of the Mercedes. Then the second Ferrari not far from his teammate, just 2 positions away from his teammate in P9. That's a crazy DRS train in the midfield. Who is in 16th place? Spy is in 16th place. Spy. And his name will remain Spy until further notice. Top Gun. Gap was getting a little worrying. Went up almost to 1.3 seconds, but he has been able to reel him in, so I wonder if that is a mistake from the RB driver that allowed the Red Bull to come back at him. But Top Gun now leads the way. Divan relinquishes the lead for the first time in this race. He got all the way to lap 4. Wasn't able to hold on any longer, and now he's going to come into the clutches of two Mercedes and a McLaren that's not far behind. Got a DRS train from P1 down to P5, then a bit of a gap, and then a very big DRS train. P7, P8, P9, P10, 11, 12. Of course, one of the benefits of these sprint races is that they're really short, means cars aren't really able to spread out that effectively. It's not that much time to break the DRS train, so by the end of the race you get a field that is still relatively close together. Half a second is the gap at the front. Top Gun from Divan. This is the view from the man in P2. Spy picks up a penalty. View from the driver in P3, view from the driver in P4. To Williams, P3, P4. Of course, this is a circuit, very wide circuit. Use a lot of the racetrack, use alternate lines. Just got to be careful you don't go over those white lines. Seen races here in the past with an awful amount of penalties, and as I say that, C and RB going off circuit. And even when you do not gain any time by going off circuit, sometimes the game will judge that you in fact did gain time. It'll give you a warning, and once you have one too many warnings, you start picking up penalties. And all those have a disastrous effect on your race result. Very important to stay out of the penalties column for as long as possible, and if you do get penalties, keep them as low as possible. We've also seen sometimes driver can be really clean until 2/3 of the race, then he picks up that first penalty, and somehow by the end of the race he's picked up another 2 or 3 penalties. Just what happens when you get that first one. You get a bit frustrated, you start to try and make up the time that you're losing in the penalty, and what happens is you go on to find more of them. This is just the sprint race, this is just a taster, this is, call it a quali session. A quali session with the bonus of picking up points. Top Gun and Andre now battle for the lead. One Williams in P1, the other Williams has lost the position to Levy, so scroll down to P5. Andre is now behind Divan. Mistake, that was Andre up into P2, not into the lead. In fact, the lead is 1.5 seconds up the road. It's Top Gun, he's all by himself. He's been able to break the DRS. He'll be hoping he can keep that gap that way, manage that gap. Andre P3, Levy 4, Skull 5, then Martin in the second RB. The RB's having a good night so far. Remember, this is how they will start. Some interesting names here tonight. Flynn. If I can't pronounce the entire name, well, I'm going to take a little piece of your name, and that's going to be your name on NFR. Until you can give me something better to call you. So if you don't like the name I've given you on NFR, you can contact me on Discord and tell me what you want me to call you. But Yeah, but if you're the driver in P16, I'm not calling you that. Every time I say the name, I'm gonna have to mute, have a bit of a laugh, and then come back. Not good. Top Gun out front in second. Remember, it was 1.5 seconds. I said he had broken DRS. Comfortable, but it was so important that he kept it that way. Now it's getting dangerously close to back into DRS. Because once that driver behind you has DRS, he doesn't need to be faster than you on a lap. He can simply just be towed around. You will be using your battery trying to defend. He'll be sitting there towed around on DRS lap after lap, and when the time comes to attack, you might not have much battery to defend with. To Williams 3 and 4 for a long time. They've now lost positions to Levy. Levy now in the top 3. Williams 4 and 5 just off the podium. It's Faree, the driver P2 in the championship. I'm sure that P2 is pretty much confirmed at this stage. He's in P6. Martin P7, Pantry Star P8, and then the sprint race only the top 8 score points. Confirmation there, apologies, this career does not have a confirmed second place. Country Star, even Spikes still in the running. Of course, it could take some mathematical miracles, still within the realm of possibility, and we've seen so many times drivers just making a mistake, drivers you expect to be at the front of the field, finding the wall. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be the fault of the driver. Someone else could just run into you, and that's 0 points on the night. Red Bull, RB, McLaren, Williams. We have an Aston Martin up into P5, it's Faree, Martin P6, Pantry Star P7, Mr. Ren and Spikes, the 2 Ferraris, 8 and 9. And then Andre, I'm going to guess that car has some sort of damage. We saw him running with the front runners, was battling for second briefly. And just picked up damage somewhere along the line because he's fallen down the order down to P10. He's now slipped behind the Ferraris. Skull also in P8, so the race slipping away towards the closing stages. Remember, the afternoon is far from over. This is just to set the field for the real deal, for the feature race. As soon as we get done here, I've got to switch off everything in the comms box, run to the lounge, switch that TV on and watch the real thing. It's lap 10 of 10. Spy puts up another penalty. Look at all the penalties on the screen. Most of the drivers with penalties towards the rear of the field, but Divan now has a penalty as well. He's the driver in P4. Just bring up the penalty screen to see how bad those penalties are exactly. 6 seconds for Divan, that's going to be crucial. He's up in P4, so he's going to lose a few positions. Mr. Rem and his teammate Spikes, they've got 3 seconds apiece, as does Virus and Gattosi, 3 seconds apiece. And the driver in 13, I'll figure it out, he's got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Calling all these guys. Flem, he's got 3 seconds, Joe's got 3 seconds, and Spy, well, Spy's got 18 seconds worth of penalties. That's almost a pit stop worth of penalties. And as we've seen on the race circuit so many times in the 2024 season, Red Bull versus McLaren, Not in the SKR season. In the SKR season, it's been Aston Martin pretty much throughout the season. But for now, it's Top Gun. He's taken the victory. He's taken, can we call it pole position? Call it a sprint race victory / pole position. Levy's going to join him on the front row. Second row is going to be Yitzfari and Pantry Star. Third row, Martin and Andre. Fourth row, Divan, Mr. Rem. And then making up the top 10. And the fifth row, Spikes and Virus. Of course, if the sprint race did not go your way, don't be too let down. Of course, the big points come in the real race, the feature race, the long race. That was just a 10-lap race. I think the next one's going to be, can't remember, 29 if I'm not mistaken. And Spy parks it up. It's Fareed, driver of the day for the sprint race at least. We'll get another driver of the day for the feature race. There are your results. Top Gun takes the victory from Levy. Remember, this will also be the starting order. It's Fareed P3, Pantry Star P4, then Martin De Bruin in P5, Andre P6, Divan P7, Mr. Rem P8, Spikes P9, and Virus. It's going to be going from P10. Starting from outside the top 10, we've got Skull in P11, Gattosi P12. We've got an Alpine in P13, Flen 14, Joe Katia 15. I missed that. I'm going to have to polish up on all these new names. So now, yet again, as we were looking not so long ago, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, your championship just popped up on screen. There we go, that's better. And we have a bunch of people leaving the lobby. So it looks like we're going to have to make yet another lobby, and hopefully we don't start running into Formula 1 time. So as we did not so long ago, we're going to leave the lobby and come back to the pre-race screen. Now just going to have to wait for a new invite for a new lobby. It will be a slight delay because they're going to have to use something called custom grid. When you go into a new lobby, then they will set that custom grid according to the results of the sprint race. And then we will get going eventually for the feature race. I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to take advantage of this glitch. And I'll be back with you in 2 or 3 minutes from now.
Feel the speed, the thrill, high up octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR swing, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed, the speed. You move to NFR.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone Town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
NFR, it's time to go. the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush. NFR.
Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully now we should get going. It feels like I've said that one too many times this evening. Of course, anyone who's dealt with this game will know it's no fault of the guys in the league. It's really just the game can be quite unpredictable from time to time, but hopefully this will be the final time we're looking at the empty pit lane. Drivers now will be doing their final preparations for the feature race. The sprint race was a lot more simple. Of course, you're just going from start to finish. If you don't get any damage, you're not intending to visit the pits. The pits is a very big part of your race in the feature race. What tyre are you going to start on? Do you want the earlier pit window? Do you want the later pit window? And obviously, what do you envision in the way of safety cars? Are you going to underfuel in anticipation of them? And obviously take a risk. Very wide race circuit with a lot of runoff. So safety cars aren't quite as common as they would be at other circuits. Most places you would go off at this circuit can be quite forgiving. Like I said, not a lot of data to go off. We've just had the two Grand Prix in Qatar, 2021 and 2023. One of those races had a safety car, the other one did not. We now get going for hopefully the final formation lap of the evening. Top Gun's going to lead the field, Levy P2, then it's Ferrari, very quick, it's Ferrari starting from P3, your eyes on him, Star in P4. It's a driver that's still challenging its Ferrari for that P2 in the championship, doesn't want Aston Martin to have the complete sweep. Martin in P5, Andre the top, Williams starting in P6, Divan P7, Mr. Ren P8, Spikes P9, and then Virus gonna get going from P10. Just trying to figure out what I'm going to call the driver in P13. I don't even know what that is. I'm just going to call him Jan. I actually do think I know what that is. Ah yes, I'm not calling him that. My Afrikaans pronunciation surprisingly terrible. Greetings Ubuntu, it's your first appearance in the comment section. I suppose you're joining us a little bit late. Well, you're joining us just in time. We've just finished the formation lap for the feature race. We had 1 or 2 delays tonight, so you're going to get to watch the start of the race. Looks like those leaders just got to their grid boxes a little earlier than they would have wanted. We're also going to take a bit of time. Saw a bunch of cars getting DSQ'd at the start of the sprint race. That was obviously just as a result of not parking it correctly. 3 cars in the sprint race, 3 cars in the feature race, 4 cars in the feature race. Not getting that parking done correctly. 4 red lights, 5 red lights. They go off. And so do we. Off towards turn 1. Top Gun versus It's Free. It's Free's already made up a position. Levy's found himself in the action as well. Top Gun, Levy, It's Free. That's the order coming out of turn 1. Pantry Star in P4. Got a lot of action at the bottom of the field. See a car falling down to the bottom. I think that was Iris. He was in P10 not so long ago. Akmagozi has joined the lobby and I have not seen it. There we go. Death Queen, a friend of yours. Akmagozi down in P18. He did indeed jump into the second McLaren. So we've got a field of 19 drivers in the penultimate round of a season where the championship has already been decided. I think that says a lot about the strength, the depth and the support for this league. Of course, I think this is the, at least on the channel, I think this is the second edition of SKR going into a different time slot, doing this at 4 o'clock. So not so long from now, they're going to be doing the real thing. 3-second penalty early on for Sky. Remember, he had something like 18 seconds worth of penalties the last time we looked in the sprint race, so he's already picked up a 3-second penalty. That means he's picked up 3 warnings on that first lap. He's going to have to slow that down. Of course, once you get into the upper end, the echelons of the 20s, 27, 28, 29, that is very, very dangerous territory for your penalties. Drivers usually get a very sudden DSQ. That's why you don't generally see drivers with more than 30 seconds worth of penalties. They will usually get a DSQ before that, usually in the high 20s. Levy is out front. Top Gun, P2. It's Free. Would have been hoping to make a little bit more ground than that at the start of the race. We know he's a quick driver. He's been quick all season. Where is the second Aston Martin and the champion? Well, I was going to say the championship leader, but the season 9 champion down in P12. Just behind the Alpine of Jan. Levy, fastest lap of the race, early days, lap 3 of 29. At the front, very, very close, 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second. Nothing in it at the front, it's Free, 0.8 of a second back, so still within DRS, but doesn't want that gap to get much larger. We've got Pantry Star in P4, he's unfortunately fallen out of DRS early on. Mr. M P5 also out of DRS. He's being chased by Andre, but Andre's got his own problems with spikes just behind him. Martin de Bruin and his teammate Divan, line astern, the 2 RBs. Then we got the second Williams, Skull, started outside the top 10. He's already made his way into the top 10. We've got Jan in P11, Rees P12, that is your season 9 champion. Hopefully Rees does not follow the example of Jacques Villeneuve. If you don't know who Jacques Villeneuve is, well, Jacques Villeneuve won the 1997 World Championship. Quite a blistering career up until that point. Won the 1995 Indy Championship, came over to Formula 1 in 1996, finished second only to his teammate, who went on to win the championship. And in his second year in F1, went on to win his own championship, and then never won another race. won the championship in his second year and never won another race while having spent another 6 or 7 years in the sport. Well, Weeze makes up a position already. He's up into P11. He want to get himself into P10 and then start making his way through the field before that field starts to spread out. Levy's still in the lead, then Top Gun, then it's Farid, the three very close together, the top three within a second of each other. Pantry Star in a little bit of a bubble, 1.6 seconds off the top three and 2.3 seconds ahead of his next opponent. He's in a bit of a race of his own. Then Mr. MP5. As have Andre not too far behind. Andre in a Ferrari sandwich between Mr. Rem and Spikes. Can be quite intimidating when the car in front of you looks like the same car as the one in your mirrors. No intimidation tactics. Andre, are you looking at the right battle? Spikes. Was it Spikes? And it was Spikes making up the position. Mr. Rem, P5, Pantry Star still P4, top three still in the same order, but I said they were within a second. Look at that now. The top three within 0.4 of a second of each other. Absolutely insane how close together these guys are getting, and they still have all their end plates. It's one thing to drive fast, it's quite another to avoid damage and drive fast. And that's what these guys are doing. They're driving quick, they're driving so close together, and they've still got all their carbon fiber. There's a lot of drivers out there that can be very, very quick over a single lap. Insanely quick in time trial. When it comes to a race situation, the results don't match up with their pace in quali. It's just because they're not as clean with other drivers. Incidents, mistakes, wing damage, being on the track by yourself is simply not the same. So when you see these guys driving on the limit, wheel to wheel, centimeters between them, and they're still able to hold it together, well, that just takes it to another level. Andre falling down the order. Death Queen brought that to my attention. I didn't see it, but Andre's come into the pits, must have picked up some sort of damage on that car. Very unfortunate. The Williams was doing well. Remember, still early days. Get a safety car. Pit window still needs to happen. Still lots can happen. Let's just bring up your tyre screen. You can see most of the field on the medium compound. That might explain Weeze's pace in the beginning of the race. Didn't really look like he had the pace. He sat in P12 for quite some time without making any progress. He's now up into P7, and if you look at the list, he's on the hard tyre. He's just gone up into P6. He's made up another. So in the beginning, he might have just been struggling to bring those tyres up to temperature with all the medium runners around him. But now that those hard tyres are up to temperature, the track is starting to come to him, and once we get to lap 9 or 10, then the track will really come to him, because those mediums will begin to fall off. You can take them maybe 12 or 13 laps, and you're going to jump on the hard and finish it off that way. Of course, Weeze will be looking to do the opposite of that. Take these hards as long as he can, then finish off on a set of mediums, which means he'll have the tyre advantage at the end of the race. So if he's doing this now with the tyre disadvantage, so imagine what's to come. That's why he's season 9 champion. Out front though, Levy. Fantastic job by him. Another 3-second penalty going the way of Spy. Collecting them like Max is collecting trophies. Levy leads the way. Ferrari P2, Top Gun P3, Pantry Star P4. I didn't notice that initially, but the two Red Bulls, 3 and 4 in the order. Good result for the Red Bull team. Then we've got the two Ferraris, P5 and 7. Obviously the Aston Martins, P6 and 2. We's the one coming through the field. It's very started a lot higher up. Death Queen in the comment section asking Ubuntu who does he support. Ubuntu, who do you support? Who do you support, Death Queen? Anybody else in the comment section, who do you support? Whether it be driver, whether it be team, or are you just a neutral who loves to watch? Or maybe you're secretly a Lance Stroll fan. Haven't met one yet, but one day I'm going to meet a Lance Stroll fan. It's probably not going to happen unless I meet his dad. Of course, South Africa also one step closer to a Grand Prix. Our sports minister will be attending the Qatar Grand Prix, and he's having a couple of meetings tomorrow morning. Some of the FIA officials. It's Ferrari and then Levy. Look how close this is. 1.5 tenths. That's the difference between P1 and P2. 1.5 tenths. This is Levy in P2. 1.5 tenths looks like it's actually gone up to 2 tenths. Another night circuit on the F1 calendar. Remember, we started with just Singapore, and it was unique. It was the only one on the calendar. I didn't think we were going to get another. And then all of a sudden they started flooding the calendar with these things. It's a track that was initially purpose-built for MotoGP. So I never had any intentions of F1 at the time. How you get all these sweeping corners. Initially designed for motorcycles. There were a lot of concerns going into the first Qatar Grand Prix that overtaking would be extremely difficult. Ubuntu, a Red Bull fan. Death Queen saying, calling me a Red Bull fan. Well, I am a Red Bull fan. Supported Red Bull since, well, pretty much since Sebastian Vettel joined Toro Rosso, and then when he moved over to Red Bull, so did I. I watched the Vettel era. That was fantastic to watch as a Red Bull fan. I watched the Hamilton era. That was absolutely not fantastic to watch as a Red Bull fan. And well, now I've watched the Max era. But I am in general a fan of the sport. I'm going to cry about it tonight if we have a Ferrari victory or a McLaren victory. That being said, I still don't want Mercedes to win. They're just annoying. Inside Aston Martin versus a Red Bull. That's Weeze, the second Aston Martin. said one was out front, the other one was in the midfield. Well, not much longer. Weeze has entered the top 3. He's the only driver in the top 3 with a hard set of tyres. Said the tyres would start to drop off. Lap 10, you might start to feel the very beginning effect of those tyres falling off, and that's when Weeze should get all the advantage. We know he's got the pace, and if he has the tyre advantage as well, this gap could fall very quickly. Ubuntu, when I initially started watching Formula 1, giving my age away now, but early 90s, I was a Schumacher fan, pretty much throughout. I think the first 5 or 6 races that I really sat down and watched, I was a Senna fan, and unfortunately you all know what happened there. And I became a Schumacher fan. That's 495, followed into Ferrari, and stopped being a Ferrari fan. I can tell you the exact Grand Prix. It was the first time in my life I was so angry at Formula 1 I didn't even watch the next round. It was the 2002 Austrian Grand Prix. Every weekend Michael Schumacher would show up at a weekend and completely outpace his teammate, but occasionally he'd have a weekend where his teammate just got a better clip of the circuit. And that was one of those weekends. Rubens Barrichello arrived at the circuit, was quickest in the practice sessions, quickest in the qualifying, took pole position, led the race throughout. A few laps to go, was told to slow down, give the win to Michael Schumacher when it was only round 5. Schumacher had a dominant lead in the championship in the early stages. I was a Ferrari fan for a very, very long time, and I still have that soft spot for Ferrari. That's why I say I'm not going to cry if a Ferrari wins. I still love to hear that anthem. But I'd love to hear the combination again, the German and Italian national anthem. We got it from Schumacher, we got it from Vettel a few times. I don't know how the British anthem's going to sound next to the Italian anthem. That's going to be a strange one. It's been a very, very long time since a Brit drove for Ferrari. Might be mistaken, but if I'm not, I believe the last time a Brit drove for Ferrari, that would have been Nigel Mansell. And that was before I started watching F1. Nigel Mansell's time at Ferrari was a rather harsh one. Because today, well, he'd be bankrupt from all the stuff he said on the radio. Mansell and Ferrari just never clicked. Cooper into the pits, that was the driver in P2. Gutozzi into the pits, Divan staying out, he's going to hold on to track position, goes up into P2. The pit window now starting to take effect on that timing sheet. You can see all the cars getting scrambled. Some of the cars will be pitting this lap, some of the cars will maybe be going a lap or 2 later. So over the next 2 or 3 laps this should settle yet again. Remember Weeze, the driver in the lead, he has not pit. Those are the tyres he started the race on. When he does pit, he's going to pit for the for the medium tyre and go to the end. He's got a 19-second gap. If he's able to get that over 21 seconds, I'm quite confident he can go into the pits and come out in the lead. Quite crucial now for Divan. That gap, might have wanted to come in a lap earlier. Or if he's going to come in right now, it's 19.8 seconds. It's getting awfully close to what you would lose in a pit stop. There we go. I think I worked that out wrong. I think Weeze can pit and still lead this race. Divan has not pit. The next man is SAFRL, his teammate, and he's 26 seconds down the road. So Weeze can definitely pit and hold on to the lead. By which point he will have the better tyre and he should be able to pull away from his teammate at that point. Jan gets a 3-second penalty. Let's bring up that penalty screen. We haven't looked at it yet in this race. 3 seconds going the way of Divan, Spikes, Skull, Itozi and Martin. We have a 9-second penalty for Flem, 12-second penalty for Jan, and 16 seconds worth of penalties for Joe Kutsia. Actually, Jan's just gone up to 22. Have a caution. You always have that momentary what's about to happen. Is this a safety car on the way? Doesn't seem like it. Jan has retired. And we do have a DSQ. Spy gets a DSQ, Jan gets a DSQ. Both those drivers were very high up in the penalties. I'm not sure if that is what resulted in the DSQ. One too many. It's Weeze out front. This is the man in P2. He actually stayed out on those mediums a lot longer. In fact, he stayed out on those mediums longer than anyone in the race. Everybody who started on the medium has gotten rid of the medium. Ivan trying something different. Wonder if he was just hoping for a safety car. Maybe get a free pit stop. Hold on to position. But I don't think it's gonna come. The roll of the dice. Sometimes the gamble works. Sometimes you win. Sometimes, most of the time, it's the house that wins. Lap 17 of 29 as the leader goes over the start finish line. 22-second gap to the man in P2. Ivan will lose about 20 seconds. That's going to bring him outside the top 10, and eventually he does make the choice to come into the pits. Almost looked like he was going to stay out for a moment. Looked like that was a late choice, but he comes into the pits eventually. Weeze has done 16 laps on that hard tyre. It's got the oldest tyres on circuit. In fact, the only tyres on circuit in the double digits. So I can get a better view of, there we go, Spikes also in a bit of a race of his own. 3.5 seconds down the road from the top 3 and a good 7 seconds up the road from Top Gun. So he's all by himself, but he does have a penalty next to his name, so he needs that gap behind him. 2 Red Bulls close together within DRS. Of course, if one is much quicker than the other, they'll be in communication. I don't know there's going to be any team orders at this point, or if all the drivers are just in it for themselves. I'm going to say the second Williams, but he's not the second Williams, he's the first Williams. Skull in P8. So had a mixed bag. Running as high as P4 in the sprint race at a stage. It's the highs and lows of a race evening. Or in this case, a race afternoon. Lap 18 of 29. Race going by pretty quickly. You were watching Cooper, man in P9, Virus P10. And a whole bunch of drivers with penalties. Andre circulating in P15, then Appenberzi P16, and then he joined right at the end. Good to have him in the lobby. For the other McLaren, there he is. He's taken on Wees. He's got out front. Levy leads the Season 9 champion. This is a race that can come down to that battery management. You've got to make sure in those closing stages that the cars behind you are within DRS. You need to have managed them properly, otherwise just like that, there's really nothing you can do to defend. 3 too far behind to pull off the double overtake, but Levy back down to P2. Would have enjoyed leading the race briefly. Now it's going to be very, very difficult for him to get that lead back once those mediums are up to temperature. They're just going to have superior grip over all those cars behind him. And with the combination, it's not going to help if you've got the better tyre and you're a terribly slow driver. But if you have the speed of Wees and the advantage of the medium, and you put that combination together, it's going to be very difficult for anyone else in the rest of the field to put up a realistic challenge. At this point they'd have to wait, hope for some sort of a mistake out front, some sort of safety car, some sort of third-party intervention. It's not going to come from the skies because we're in the desert, so no rain on the horizon. It's just not going to happen. I've seen very odd things in this game, but I'm yet to see rain in the desert. Second time penalty going the way of Katosi. I said in qualifying it was a track that is really wide, but somehow you're still going to find the white lines, you're still going to go a little too far, and penalties are common. And we're seeing that on this circuit. Of course, the layout we're going to see in 45 minutes from now for the real F1 race, they changed things up a little bit. Some of the corners that were causing the most invalidated laps, I've added just a little strip of tar next to the rumble strip, rather not tar, gravel next to the rumble strip. Go over that rumble strip, you get your tires on the gravel, big puff of dust, absolutely no advantage gained, and no need for a penalty. So hopefully that'll be something they introduce into the game as well. Of course, they've also brought that in at Austria, those final corners. Drivers will always use every single bit of tarmac available. No matter how wide the circuit is, still going to find track limits. If you put something there, you go around the castle section in Baku, drivers tend to stay within the white lines. If they know there's a disadvantage at the end of it, They don't tend to use it. But if there's just more tarmac runoff, it's just going to happen over and over. We've actually got the two cars out front now, both affected by penalties. Fortunately for Wheeze, he's got a commanding lead. Have to pick up another penalty or two to affect him at this stage. So Wheeze and Levy 3 seconds, Spikes 3 seconds, Skull 3 seconds, Ivan up to 6, as is Gatosi. Got Flem in P9, then Martin P9. We got Flem on 9 seconds, Martin on 3, and Joe Kutsia on 16. I suspect 10 of those are pit lane related, so he'll be able to serve 10 seconds if he makes another pit stop. Otherwise all 16 will be added on at the end of the race. It's Wheeze, Levy, and It's Free. It's Free, the one to watch. Wheeze, comfortable gap out front. Levy in P2, wasn't able to stay with the one Aston Martin. Now he's starting to come under pressure from the other. It's Free, P3, Spikes, not much he can do from P4, 3.7 gap, 3.7 second gap plus a 3 second penalty next to his name. Best he can do is hope to hold on to P4. Does have a large gap down to Pantry Star, should be able to hold on to that so long as he doesn't pick up any more penalties. And of course this lobby's taken a little longer than usual. We've had to restart the lobby 3 times, so the race, or at least it's taking a little longer. This is when mistakes can creep in. Drivers who don't usually pick up penalties start doing silly things. Start getting distracted. Aston Martin 1 and 3. How many times have we seen them 1 and 2? We might see them 1 and 2 once again. Getting a little confused there for a second. I was like, hold on. I'm talking about the Aston Martins being 1 and 2. Why do I see 2 McLarens? The second McLaren is Afmagozi. He's down in P16. Can be frustrating when you get lapped. But when you get lapped by a field like this, well, it doesn't really count, does it? In fact, I'd probably be lapped twice, and the only advantage there is to that is I don't have to finish the race. I only have to do 27 laps. Weed continues to grow the gap, 6.6 seconds. Not resting on his laurels, not taking it easy. He's going to push to the very end. It's so good to have also both Aston Martin drivers here. Sometimes we see drivers winning a championship and they don't show up for the rest of the races. Two Red Bulls, 5 and 6, would be a good result if the checker flag were to fall. Both cars nicely in the points. Another quick look at the Constructors' Championship with 5 laps to go. Aston Martin, obviously, they have won the championship, 396 points. They'll be up to 400 by the end of today. Then we've got McLaren P2 185, Ferrari 136, so there's still a battle there for P2 between two teams that are fighting for P1 in the Formula 1 Championship. Red Bull 134, so they're still very much in that battle, as well as Williams 109. Battle for P3, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams. Lots of points still on offer. One more round to go after this. That'll be next week, where all seasons come to an end. Abu Dhabi. Remember remember we'll be running this same calendar over at SAFRL, so tomorrow night 8 PM on this channel we'll be back at this circuit for the penultimate round of SAFRL, and then next week we finish things off with Yas Marina, Sunday night SKR, Monday night SAFRL, and then things are gonna go a little quiet. Joe picks up another 3-second penalty. That'll probably take him into 19 seconds. There it is, 19 seconds. Remember, once you get high up into the 20s, you are risking a disqualification. Leads the way. Levy still in P2, still defending from its Ferrari, who's been in his DRS for quite some time now, just can't make the overtake. Love to make this an Aston Martin 1-2, love to win the race. At the moment this is the result he needs. The man he's racing, no point in racing a man in P1, that championship is decided, but he is racing for his P2 in the championship, and the closest challenger to him is Star down in P6, so it would be a good result for X3. He wouldn't finish in P3, would he? He'd finish in P2 if the gap stayed like this, because Levy does have a 3-second penalty, so it would be a good result for Aston Martin and for X3 maintain that second place. That's one thing I'd love to be able to have on here is live points. Fortunately we can't do that. Caution very late on, it's 26 of 29 and surely not. Skull is out of this race, it's a DNF. But a caution, we don't see anything out on track, and I don't think we're going to see anything more. Almost got it right. Race control announces a 3-second penalty for Bertozzi. We keep our eyes on the track map, see if anything yellow comes out of the pits. It's 26 of 29. As we get to 27, we are confirmed to be safe. And there we go, lap 27 of 29. So I don't believe we'll be getting any more safety cars, but that was a worry. Briefly, that was an awfully long yellow flag. Rees would have had his heart in his mouth, hold up such a gap, and then all of a sudden the man that doesn't have penalties could potentially win the race. Very late retirement for Skull. Sort of retirement that hurts even more. You retire on lap 1 or lap 2, very early days in the race, you're frustrated, might even be angry, but when something happens right at the end, well, it's more of a disappointment. Luckily you don't have to be disappointed for too long, because you know F1 on the screens pretty soon. I should get you right hyped up again. Ivan, another 3-second penalty. Look at that, so many drivers in the field now with penalties. Just 5 drivers remain without a penalty next to their name. That's it for Reed, Top Gun, Star, Cooper and Andre. Both Red Bulls staying out of the penalties column. It's Ferrari holding on to P2, but he will have the peace of mind that if Levy does get by, well, he's going to keep P2 anyway due to the penalty. And Levy does in fact get by, not much you can do to defend down that straight. Remember, it's Ferrari is technically in P2 at this stage. Spike's P4. He also has a penalty, big gap down to Top Gun, so I don't think he'll lose any spots. Two Red Bulls very close together at this stage. Sometimes be difficult to race your teammate. An overtake you usually would have gone for. Maybe now you just second guess it just for a moment. You want to be as clean as you possibly can when you're going side by side with your teammate or when attacking your teammate. And sometimes that just affects your driving style to a point where you're not making a lot of progress. We'll ride with Wheeze as he comes to the end of the penultimate round of Season 9, Round 12. About to go over the line. Start the final lap, 29 of 29. What a season it's been. I thought maybe he'd take things easy in this last round, sit back, maybe give his teammate a victory. Nothing of it. Nothing of it at all. It's free. Remember, just stay out of that penalties column. One thing we don't have any information on, and I'd love it if we did, was the number of warnings each driver is on. Of course, see there's 5 drivers out there with no penalties. Is it 6? Yes, 6 drivers with no penalties next to their name. Some of them will be on 2 warnings and they'll be on their absolute tiptoes around these corners, trying not to pick up a penalty. Others will have no warnings. Don't really know who is where, but we know that we're in the closing stages, and what a time! What a time to go on board with the leader. What a time to go on board with the leader. We thought we were going to finish off the lap. We were just going to finish off the lap with Wheeze, and out of nowhere, loses the back end. Wasn't able to get things under control. It's free. Takes the victory. Spikes P2. Levy P3. And Wheeze will eventually come over the line in P4. And I wonder, I have a little conspiracy here. Did he give It's Free the victory? Who knows? Only Stroll knows. Wait for the clock to tick down. Slow drivers out on track. The drivers have been lapped, so as they go over the line they'll get the check flag regardless if they've done 29 laps or not. You can see Joe just did 28 laps and his race is over. 10-second penalty added to his race time as he didn't make another pit stop. Those 10-second penalties, sometimes what happens is you get a safety car, you go in, serve that 10-second penalty for free and get completely away with it. Other times that safety car never happens and you get a chunk of time added onto your race time. Wheeze is your driver of the day. And I forgot to mute this again, so it's going to be trimming the audio again for me. So there are your final results. It's Free P1, then Spikes in P2, Lebby P3. Wheeze looked like he was going to take the victory. I'm rhyming again and I don't know why. It looked like he was going to take the victory with absolute ease. But that didn't happen. Big mistake on the final lap. Victory landed up going to his teammate. Then we got Pantry Star and Top Gun, the pair of Red Bulls, 5 and 6. Cooper in P7, Mr. M P8, Virus P9, and Divan making up the points. No points on the night for Gatosi P11. Then we've got Flem P12, Martin 13, Andre 14, Apmagozi 15, Joe Kutsia 16, and then the 3 DNFs, Skull, Jan, and the Spy. Of course, I want to thank everybody who joined us this afternoon. Of course, we actually got some good viewership on a video that is out of its time slot, so I'm pretty happy with the stream. I was pretty happy with the race. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Of course, if you did enjoy it, you need to come back tomorrow night, because we're going to do it all over again. Some of the drivers you saw on track tonight, you're going to see them on track tomorrow night, so some of them do overlap. Those drivers should have some sort of an advantage tomorrow night, because they'll have some actual data. So I'm going to cut things a little bit shorter than I usually do. That's because we're going to have Formula 1 in 25 minutes from now. So I want to go to the lounge, get the TV on, and get things ready. I want to thank everybody who joined us. And of course, NFR will be back tomorrow night. And I hope to see you all there. So if it was your first visit to the channel, please remember to subscribe. Or if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. And if you've visited many times before, if you haven't liked the video, shame on you. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, thank you everyone, and cheers.
Into 24 engines on fire, Max and his Red Bull racing with desire. Sergio followed, but he stumbled and trailed. In the season's first half, their victories held. Max was a lion on tracks, burned gold, but halfway through the season, the car grew cold. Perez Tony struggling in his quest, Lance in his own right outdid him at best. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survive. That checkered flag once seemed a sure thing, but fortunes change fast in the racing ring. Mechanical troubles and the handling wrong, the champions yesterday now sing a broken song. Max is holding on by a thin red line, each turn a battle and every lap a time. Perez in shadows where hopes lay slain, every pit stop a prayer for racing's gain. Falling wings down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Down from the skies, Red Bull sinking as the season flies. Max fights to keep his lid alive, while Sergio stumbles, just survives. Just survives. Like a shooting star, the engines roar, the tires scream, fast as lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel
where the